Pickacard soul retrieval. What are you reintegrating? Here are your options, and I'll see you at your reading. Hi, Pal One. My name is Griselle with Psychicmd, and I'm here to do your reading. I'm going to go ahead and ring the bell for an additional good juju burst right here. All right. So soul retrieval, what are you reintegrating? Or what is spirit trying to reintegrate within you? First, we're going to explore what we've lost or what was separated from you. And then we're going to look at how to integrate it best. Okay. So pile number one, we have the world. We have the Four of Wands. We have the High Priestess. We have Judgment. We have Justice. Wow. And we have the Star. Put this here. Now, pile number one, when I was mixing the cards and putting things together, I have all the cards here for you. But for some reason, this one wanted to jump out into the wrong pile. I call it, quote, air quote, wrong pile. So this is also going to join what has been separated from you. And to be honest, this is way more cards than I thought. I planned for 3 and Spirit just wanted more. So let's see. We have the Page of Wands. Okay. If you guys are curious, I am using today the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms. So beautiful. I am also using, what am I using? They're not soupy cards. Oh, here they are. Hello. I've got these cards, whatever these are. The Tarot of the Divine. Okay, just in case y'all were curious. So, pile number one. Typically, the soul retrieval, as you guys probably know, is done with a shaman. Now, we don't have a shaman, so we're going to use our cards. This does not replace anything that the shaman does. It is just an idea on how best to integrate things, and we're going to move forward with this. We're going to do it with tarot cards and our intuition. Pile number one with the world. I feel like what this is stating is that, you know, what the world is a major ending, and what was separated from you caused a major ending in your life. I feel like maybe once where you came from the light, you were plummeted into darkness. And this is also your vibe check, pile number one. So if this resonates, then you will know is a confirmation that this is your pile. Pile one, we have the Four of Wands. I feel like this is kind of like happy home, that kind of a thing. And this is what was separated from you, is stability, the ability to build, the ability to have a home, maybe a hearth or something that was stable. Because to me, the Four of Wands is always stability. Next, we have the High Priestess right here. I feel like you were separated from your intuition for a very long time. I feel like because maybe the home crumbled, maybe the home space crumbled, maybe there was a marriage involved with your parents that dissolved. Maybe you were someone such as I. I lived in so many different homes I can't begin to tell you. In conjunction with like a partnership with my grandparents who helped raise me as well. And the back and forth. So there was a ton of instability. And I feel like that was you as well. I feel also that you were separated from the ability to trust your own intuition. And I'm not sure why, but something really, I heard tragic happened. Yeah. With this right here with the Judgment card, I feel like something really almost like removed your spirit from your body. I feel like you could have been one of those kids or people who you could kind of separate yourself easily. You could almost like meditate and float, like not be in your body at all, dissociate from everything in the world. And I feel like you were looking for a way to find reunion with your higher self, to integrate this part of you where you feel like you didn't need to escape. It's almost like you would lift out of your body and start looking for yourself. Now, I do remember once upon a time when I was in school, it was kinder, no less, and I did have a lot of trauma growing up. And one of the things that I recall was being in school during a parent-teacher conference with my mother, and the teacher was, you know, starting to talk and say, well, about, you know, about so-and-so, and I kept saying, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. But then I looked at a window that was, you know, kind of high above, and right away, the minute I looked out the window, my mind was gone, my spirit, my everything. I just kind of like tuned out. I didn't hear anything that they said or what they discussed. And by the way, I got held back in a kinder. TMI, you're welcome. But I'm going to say that it could be similar to that. I feel like you would escape your body. And the more that I think about it, escaping your body really kind of suggests to me that you had a very, very tough time growing up as well. You could have dealt with DV. You could have dealt with SA. You could have dealt with I. That sounds like insects, like bugs, but it's not that word. It's the other word. I feel like you could have had incredible amounts of trauma. Now we have the Justice card right here. And I feel like what was lost also was the safety, the stability, the comfort, also the justice. You know, when the best way to build stability with children is to make sure that, you know, as a parent, we try to be as just as possible or bring justice about. And I feel like there was an injustice done to you in the physical way. I feel like it fractured you mentally in a lot of ways. This is not to insult you. I feel that statement myself. Pile number one, what I do want to say is that I feel like you did not have any faith that there would be no restitution. There would be no, I heard coming of age. That's quite interesting. There would be no justice, basically, for what happened to you. And I feel like you lived a long time like that. And I feel like you learned how to accept that some way, somehow. And the Page of Wands, I feel like you also lost your mojo. But I'm also going to put the star right here. This star right here, I feel like what was lost within you is the ability to dream. For a long, long time, I feel like even if you had, such as myself, my head was always in the clouds as a kid. I didn't have any way to really dream. And I feel like dreaming a lot of times heals us, heals our emotions. This is also a very healing card. But most of all, I feel like maybe your faith could have been fractured, or the way the system works in this world wasn't going to work for you, that you were never going to have anything that was like stable, and that you weren't going to be able to trust your intuition. I feel a lot of gaslighting in this pile, a lot of, yeah, that never happened, a lot of naysaying, a lot of projection as well. I'm feeling a lot of cruelty, many different endings that really kind of just fragmented you into a lot of different little pieces. Okay. I feel also that with the star, I'm getting a lot of energy on my crown chakra, left hand side. If you guys feel it, let me know. Pile number one. Also, pile number one, this is my first channel. My second channel is called Toughdolltarot. If you're interested, you might want to check that one out as well. I do have a drawing on each respective channel for August 2024. I'll be doing the drawing on the last day and probably announcing it like September 1st or 2nd, thereabouts. But you can check those out and let me know what else you'd like to see. So yeah, this is all about having a recipe to heal yourself, having faith that you can reintegrate, that you can heal, that you can grow. And I feel like you were left with a lot of dark emotions on a lot of, it's almost like mist, a lot of rocky places, a lot of unanswered questions. I feel like also what was done to you could have been shrouded. It could have been, what's the word? You could have been demonized. You could have been held liable for something that wasn't even your fault, that kind of a thing. But most of all, I feel like hope. And again, fragmented with yourself, your intuition, and just a lot of endings. It was like, I have no hope, no stability. And I feel like consequently, we're 10 minutes into it almost, is that you learned how to survive, how to land on your feet. I feel like you don't question much when things change. You just keep it moving. When there are variables, you're quick to land on your feet. You're quick to think outside of the box because you've been able to do this your entire life. So this is what Spirit wants to reintegrate into your life. I'm going to leave the star right here. And yeah, you could suffer a lot from energy issues like exhaustion and things like that. And I resemble that remark, so I feel you if this is your story. Pile number 1, how do we integrate this? Soul retrieval, what are you reintegrating? What is Spirit trying to reintegrate within you? Pile number 1, we have the 4 of Swords. We have the Page of Cups. We have the 8 of Cups. Did you see that just leap? Interesting. And we have the 10 of Cups reversed. What? Okay. So, pile number 1, I feel like what this is stating is that with the 4 of Swords always tells me that there's a lot of healing to be done. This is a time when we are basically laying prone in bed. We're not going out. We're just withdrawing within ourselves. And this is a time to meditate on the 3 of Swords, that which broke our hearts. And this brings me to the point, the very healing point that I need to address is that you will be basically examining what broke your heart. How did it break your heart? What happened? And all of those things, not in order to ruminate over it this time, but I feel like it's in order for you to be able to bite your way out of this binding that this animal has, right? And I feel like you're going to be able to kind of declare, okay, I see clearly what these things are. And this is how I'm going to get out of it. So there is some time that needs to be taken to withdraw yourself, withdraw your energy, and come to terms with things and understand with clarity what your own situation is. Keep in mind, these readings are for the masses, as I optimistically say. Pile number 1, I'm also going to say what the Page of Cups right here, how this is going to heal. First of all, it's going to heal with the Page of Cups. This is an apology. Well, I don't know if you'll ever get that, just to be real. I certainly didn't. But I'm going to say, pile number 1, that the Page of Cups is also a child who's very loving and giving of self and very optimistic, very in tune with their emotions. This is time for you to get in tune with your emotions, okay? And I'm hearing that song, Lost in Emotion. Que sera, whoever sings that. So the Page of Cups right here, this kid has a rabbit, and the rabbit's a little bit like about ready to ensnare the person. That's kind of interesting. So I feel like you're going to control your mind. This is saying don't necessarily follow the white rabbit into every tunnel that it leads, right? This is stating you took stock, set a time, do a self-examination kind of a thing. If you can get outside help, even better. Professional help is always tops, right? But for the rest of us, I'm going to say that this is about examining you and allowing yourself to play, to feel emotions, all things like that, and not going down the rabbit hole. That's going to serve to ensnare your legs down here like the little rabbit. Innocent little brat that's trying to trip us up, right? And this is about causing us to get more into that ruminating energy and that kind of reflective and wanting maybe apologies and things like that. No, this is a time where we're just going to look at facts and then say, what can we do about it? Well, I need to get in touch with my child because my inner child has been kind of shriveled up or hasn't been seen a long time. Or what does your inner child need? That would be a great question for you to write down and follow. You know, whether you love to cosplay, whether you love to write, you love to journal, you dance, paint, I don't know, film, like make a movie, whatever your thing is. I feel like do it. Now, pile number 1, I also feel like you're going to make some decisions in order to integrate yourself to yourself, if that makes any sense. You're going to have to walk away from a lot of things that have caused this. And I feel like even now, you're going to have to really, this is you realizing after you take some time to ruminate, you know, this is what transpired in my life. These were the people involved. These were the players. These were the chess pieces. And this is what I no longer need in my life, okay? So I feel like that's going to cause a lot of waves, a lot of emotions, you walking away from situations that were not beneficial, situations that are still toxic, that involve just a lot of manipulation and things like that. And I feel like you're going to take it step by step. But reintegrating you to yourself is just allowing your inner child to play and making a safe place for that child. Think about, presumably if you're an adult now, right? If you're an adult, if you had a child, just hypothetically speaking, how would you allow that child to feel safe and give that to yourself? You're going to separate them from any dangers that you can physically possibly do. You're going to make them feel safe by creating a foundation that they can quite understand. You're going to probably establish some, I don't know, some like rules, regulations, some boundaries and things like that. You're going to offer them optimism and a time to heal. And I feel like this could involve separating yourself maybe from family, from friends, because this is quintessential, like 10 of Cups, happy wife, happy life, right? This is your typical home. And these appear to be mermaids. I don't know if they really are. But I'm going to say that regardless of what this is, it is in the reverse. And it's going to be painful because with 8 of Cups, we're moving away from something, someone. And I feel like this is you basically moving away from a lot of things that have caused you pain. If you've had people in my life, in your life, such as in my life, that have, you know, kind of not grown from when perhaps you were a child and they still treat you the same way with not allowing like any stability or any boundaries or any degrees of self or separation, you know, any accountability, but you're always the one accountable. Whatever it is, you're going to have to take stock and really make that decision and see if it's going to be the right move for you. Of course, again, involve a professional. I didn't expect to be like, hey, you may have to separate from these circumstances, but it's very possible that a lot of you guys are going to have to separate from family or friends and family, because these are brand new cards. I didn't even flip them. I was mixing them. Somehow they flipped. So that's how I'm taking this. And it's going to be painful. The 8 of Cups, you devoted a lot of time, energy, attention, affection, blood, sweat, and tears into this, into trying to become whole again, into maybe making everyone else happy except yourself. And I feel like it's time to raise yourself. Go within and find out what that inner child means, that little toddler or that little child, pile number 1, that is you, that's within you. What do they need? Do they need more fun, more safety, and things like that? I feel like you're going to cut off the criticism, cut off the demands and things like that, and allow yourself time to play, to really reintegrate that energy that you really need to feel that vitality. We had that Ace of Wands that was lost when you were young, and I feel like that's going to help you have a new vitality, a new lease on life, if you will, but also you can feel a lot more energy, okay, because I feel like that was essentially stolen or fragmented from you. And that would be the how to integrate. We're at 17 minutes in. Pile number 1. How else? What else do we need to know here? Soul retrieval. What are you reintegrating here? So we have the Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. I feel like, yeah, if you take the initiative, I feel like those on the other side are going to definitely help you. Ask your spirit guides to help, your spirit team, God, spirit, whomever it is that you are in tune with. And I'm going to say that that will definitely help. It is a period of time where, you know, the 8 of Cups is like, you're going to feel the loss. There's no way around that because you dedicated a lot of time, and that could indicate maybe some additional hardship. But the crumbling, what are you clinging to? Yeah. Pile number 1, I'm just going to ask you that very thing. What are you clinging to? Are you clinging to people that just have demands that you can't meet anymore? Are you clinging to people that no longer and never have validated you, that they can't hold space for you because it's all about them? Are you clinging to people that once maybe physically abused you and there was no therapy involved, no apology, there was no growth on their part either? I don't know, but I feel like whatever it is, this crumbling needs to happen in order for you to make that growth and that reintegration. There is a lot of growth here possible for you, but I feel like you need to really identify those old structures, whatever that structure is for you, and allow it to collapse. Because my friend, it's already disintegrating. It is old, it is brittle, it is crusty, it is dusty. Look at these windows. Even when you look through the windows and you try to find optimism, all you see is thunder and lightning, and everything feels really ominous. And you're seeing it through the lens of other people. And I feel like it is a new age and a new time where really you can put that on pause if you need to and allow your spirit team to help you to create something totally different, and to allow what has crumbled. This, I'm not saying discard people. I'm saying that the old way of doing things, that's over. That is done. And whether you admit it or not, or you willingly participate in this crumbling, I feel like it's going to happen for you. So keep that in mind. You might as well jump in and participate and get that part over with so that you can enjoy the fruits of healing. Once again, the fruits of being peaceful, of integrating yourself to self, and of allowing yourself, you know, the freedom of choices as well. It is a new paradigm. It is time not to behave like we were programmed when we were children, but it is a time to take back your power and figure out what is going to be the healthiest for you now. Any last words, please? Okay, the Emperor. Yeah. So you are dealing with some people that are of old. This feels very old, very ancient. Maybe your family lineage is very integrated in how they do things. This feels like, I heard South Africa, but doesn't have to be. And it feels very like, this is my rules. This is my way or the highway. Oh, you have the Emperor and the Empress. And look at how different the vibe is. Pile number 1, I'm going to say that, yeah, you know, you're in time and due to establish a different kind of order. The Empress is looking, and she is actually very abundant within herself. The Empress is very much acknowledging that there has been a power within her life, but that now, or his life, right? But that now's a time to really be the Empress and full of abundance. And with that, decide if this is a paradigm that you want to participate in. Does that really make you feel stable, being bossed around, pushed around, having expectations that you can't really be yourself? Things are expected from you, and everything you do is scrutinized and criticized and so on and so forth. I feel like you're going to come out smelling like roses. I feel like you're going to have so much more peace. Even this little fox here has like, oh, look at the stars. Look, pile number 1. This is the end. Check that out. With the star being clarified by the Empress wearing stars. How can I make that up? You saw me mix the cards, at least those last couple. Yeah, but I feel like you are going to come through with flying colors, very regal. It is worth the time to invest in your inner child. If nothing else, look at it as a separate entity and try to work from there. That's what I have for you. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if this resonates. And until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Grisel with Psychicmd, and pile number 2, this is your reading. I'm going to go ahead and ring the bell for additional good juju here. Pile number 2, soul retrieval. What are you integrating, or what is spirit trying to reintegrate within you? I'm going to set these aside, and we're going to explore first what was separated from you, or what were you fragmented from? Pile number 2, we have the Empress. We have the Magician. Be looking like Harry Potter. I've never used these before, I just got them. Pile number 2, we have the Ace of Wands. Excuse my stomach. We have the Four of Pentacles. And we have the King of Pentacles. Very interesting energy. Now, pile number 2, for a very few of you, I feel like this could mean that you were separated from your parents at a very young age, or fragmented from them some way, somehow. We have the Empress right here, and then we have the King of Pentacles. They could have been quite different. But regardless, I feel like even if they remain together, some way, somehow, you're emotionally, spiritually fragmented from them. But let's find out, because I also feel like you lacked softness. You lacked nurturing, that nurturing hand. You lacked also self-confidence. I feel like what was taken from you was self-confidence and your abilities, that you're capable to grow things, that you have the wherewithal to be able to manage and do everything that it is that you really want to do, that you aspire. I'm feeling also an energy of like robotic, like maybe you're expected to be robotic or seen and not heard, that kind of a thing. And we have the Ace of Wands right here. You could actually have a tie to pile number 1, doesn't necessarily have to be, but if you were in between which one to choose, you might have a message there as well. I also feel like your optimism was taken at a very young age, and this is optimism about you. So I don't necessarily feel it has to do with the world just yet, but I'm looking at this, and I feel like with the Ace of Wands, this is about having that energy, and I heard a buoyancy about you. an ability to bounce back, an ability not to be submerged in emotion. And I feel like that was taken or fragmented or separated from you. I feel like you've had to really search deep within to find what it is. Even I feel like a sense of like not even knowing yourself. And I can really relate to that. That is not a criticism. I feel like it took me a long time to find myself. And I feel like maybe you spent a lot of time alone as well, even if you had siblings and things like that. But you kept everything to yourself, right? So you kept things to yourself. You weren't allowed to really maybe have a lot of self-expression, or you tend to stuff everything down, deep, deep down. I'm all way, way down, she knows. I think that's Tori Amos' Little Amsterdam, but I don't quite remember. We've got the King of Pentacles right here. I feel like what was stolen from you or separated from you, fragmented, pile number 2 has something to do with how you are going to make it in life. I feel like your optimism, like where you're going to go, where you're going to head. I feel like your self-worth basically was taken, was stolen. I don't want to get too much into the negative. Let's look at this, see if we get any more messages. Yeah, but I feel like maybe you really clung to dreams. Maybe you had vivid dreams. Maybe you like to sleep, or you really connected with your dreams. And there's a reason for that. So we're going to find out exactly how to reintegrate all these things right here. But your self-esteem was definitely affected, and your self-confidence. So we are going to match this up, and I'm going to keep the Empress right over here. I don't know. I feel like even a mother energy could have been stolen, or, you know, whether it was on the physical or if it was stolen due to, I'm feeling for somebody drugs as well. That could be a thing. Soul retrieval. What are you reintegrating? Pile number 2. And of course, soul retrieval is typically done with a shaman. I forgot that disclaimer, but here we are without one. We're just using our cards, and we're wilding right here. How do we reintegrate this? Pile number 2. We have the Devil. Let's obsess about it. Just kidding. We have Strength. What? Okay, you have... Oh, okay, let's just get them all here. What else do we have? You have the Knight of Cups. You have the Seven of Swords. And you have the Six of Coins. Wow, okay. So pile 2. Interesting to say the least. I'm going to say, first of all, that we started off here like super strong. And I was a little bit confused. I'll admit that. I'm looking at this background. It almost looks like a heart to me. And then the Devil. So I'm going to say that pile number 2, you could be someone that has an issue with like maybe obsessing over love, or feeling like love bombing is love, or you yourself tend to love bomb, that kind of a thing. I also feel like a fawning sense of energy. So keep in mind, when we are in fear, we tend to do that flight, fight, fawn, or freeze. All of those stages. And I feel like this is no different in your regular life. You could be perpetually on edge. And right now this is stating that I feel like you could have maybe that Devil energy, which I don't necessarily mean it to be negative, but when we get obsessive, and by the way, yours truly is extremely obsessive. If you don't know, now you know. I'm going to say that. I feel like what Spirit is saying is that this is what is going on right here, is that you're expected to really rein in and conquer this inner demon, this inner devil of yours, this tendency to obsess on all the things, and maybe even like obsess on love, or love bombing and things like that. Keep in mind that those are like manipulative tactics. And I do realize that when we're so wounded, we resort to everything and anything. But also, pile number 2, I trust that you are here to really have a curiosity about Spirit and what Spirit has to say. And there is a deeper reason for you to be on this earth. And it is more than just to feel love. We are supposed to be loved for everything. They say that is the highest form of frequency, the highest frequency. Others argue that highest frequency is actually authenticity. regardless, you are being told right here to really tame that demon called obsession, called vices, called control. And this could be, you know, addictions, having addiction to love, addiction to porn, addiction to food, addiction to drugs, sex, rock and roll, all the things. Pile number 2. So no judgment there, because I'm guilty of all of those except for like smoking. Just saying. Pile number 2, the Knight of Cups right here. I feel like this is like donkey with the Puss in Boots. That could be something that has a meaning for you. But I'm going to say that with the Knight of Cups, you're going to be able to find love. And it is great. I feel like you're going to have a higher perspective, an elevated perspective on what love is. And this can come through, yes, partnership, but also friends. Keep in mind that pets love us, animals love us, children love us, and things like that. So I think that you're going to really redefine what is love and how can I return that? How can I feel complete? But also, the greatest of all is going to be self-love, so that you can actually, when you have self-love, I feel like you treat everyone better. You really have a renewed respect. You have new eyes and things like that. And if you believe in God's spirit, you don't have to. But, you know, I believe that you were created in his image or her image, whatever. And I'm going to say that, you know, with those things being said, self-love is going to be very important for you, because especially if you never had it as a child, it's going to seem very selfish. I feel like people will point fingers at you and say that's incredibly selfish. Well, interesting, because it's selfish on what other people want of you. Is basically not to be you, not to be a whole person, but to be someone that carries on the deeds that other people want. I feel like you've carried a lot of burdens in your lifetime that don't belong to you. I feel like there's also a lot of shame associated with your family lineage. I don't really know what this is, but I feel like all that is about to be washed away, and things are going to be integrated. You can also use like frequency and music, okay? Pile number 2, I also see this fox right here with the 7 of Swords. And you know how they say the lone wolf, we have the lone fox, trying to steal things and trying to get away with doing whatever it is that they want to do. Then we have this like monumental shadow of a monster. It's almost like the fox gets caught. And I feel like this is just stating the Knight of Cups is allowing yourself self-love to be able to do whatever it is that you need to do, right? A fox is going to be a fox regardless of what. Return to your origin. And I feel like that's understanding that you do have all the skills and all the tools in order to elevate, in order to really recreate your own life, to integrate your own emotions, and to be able to continue growing from there. I feel like what this is talking about, it alludes to a monster that isn't as fearsome as we give it merit or as we give it credit. I feel like this fox can quickly outmaneuver this big thing, whatever that is. And I feel like those are things like from your past that you are trying to navigate and figure out. But I feel like once you make moves, pretty much you're going to see a lot of smoke, right? A lot of smoke billowing back here, and shadows. It's like smoke and mirrors is what I'm getting. And I feel like that's going to help you to be able to detach the circumstances and elevate you into a form of action. Because I feel like a lot of you guys have been inactive in your own growth and your own healing. And there's no shame either in that. I feel those statements. And that's always good for us to be able to get therapy if we can, right? Pile number 2, we have the 6 of Coins. Now right here, this is it's like communing with nature. I don't know if that's a kitty cat or the baby version of that fox, who knows? But I feel like this is even communing with your ancestors, seeing that everything has a season and a reason, that everything is a part of the ecosystem as well. And that, you know, maybe you are trying to put parts of yourself together and you're trying to figure out, you know, and you're like, this is a whole different animal. I don't understand it. But you're not going to understand it. And it's going to be very uncomfortable. I even have a gnat like bugging me around my glasses right now as I talk. But I feel like these things are going to really prompt you, and you're going to be able to, because we have the 4 of Pentacles as a blockage, as what was separated from you. And basically you're holding all this energy, you're holding all this stuff in within yourself, and you will not in turn be able to nourish anyone else unless you start nourishing yourself. If you have children or other loved ones around you, it'll be very difficult to be demonstrative in the form of having affection, in the form of not controlling and passing down a lot of the wounds that you were given as well, right? Which presumably was probably handed down to your parents and so on and so forth, down your lineage. So pile number 2, I feel like this Empress right here has been all of the queens. And I mean this energetically. And I'm going to say that I feel like part of your healing is to learn how to reparent yourself. You could have a rebirthing experience that is very, very powerful in order to really lead your healing experience as well. You should look into it. I'm sure there are tons of things on YouTube to be able to assist you with that. I also wanted to mention, if you were interested in these cards, I'm not affiliated with them. The first ones that I pulled, this is a Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms. It's beautiful. And then the other one, what is this? Tarot of the Divine, okay? Beautiful cards. Not affiliated, again, just helpful tidbits there. But this is what's going to help you to get unstuck from yourself. I feel like a lot of you guys could be people that isolate yourself, and I resemble that remark, like chronic isolation, self-imposed, self-induced, things like that, but very difficult to relate to other people, I guess on some levels, right? So what else do we have? What's going to be helpful? Don't dim to fit in, yeah. And this is going to be a big one. This is having that self-confidence, knowing that you have the wherewithal to be exactly who you need to be, who you want to be, and so on and so forth. I feel like you're going to be rising as if asleep, as if having been asleep for a long time. And I think that you're going to look at your life differently with renewed optimism. I feel a lot of crown chakra energy for you as well. Pile number 2. And Anna, Grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, okay? Divine plan. This is part of the divine plan for you, is to really reintegrate those parts that have been fragmented. I feel like you could also be studying about sacred geometry somewhere along the line. But most of all, the Empress is being all of the queens and then returning and integrating all that to become the Empress. So it's interesting that you're reintegrating those parts that maybe left you or that you left. The King of Pentacles, I don't even think I addressed this, so sorry. But this part right here, the King of Pentacles is having that solid male foundation, okay? So I think that you're going to reparent again. That's what I keep getting, is reparent yourself, illuminating those things that really you lacked, and how can I provide that for myself? And, you know, we can't do much about the past, but we can definitely move forward with the energy that we have. And we can make choices about where we place our energy, our focus, our blood, our sweat and tears and things like that. So the biggest change you're going to see is the way that you give to other people, because I feel like you could have, this is going to sound horrible, but a stingy vibe. And I don't mean that in like the criticism way, but I feel like you really think about giving to other people because you don't know their motives. That's the biggest thing. And I can really relate to that. You're like, I don't know, because if I give, is it going to be like a stray cat? Are they going to come back? Are they going to always hit me up? Am I going to feed all of the alley cats? Am I going to be expected to take care of, you know, and so on and so forth. So I feel like you're going to put that all in balance and really allow the free give and take to come to and from you. And that's going to help balance you out. And that's what's about to be reintegrated. And with the flow, you're going to be back in the flow. Okay, there's a lot of water here flowing. And yeah, a lot of water right here. I feel like also female energy, some divine feminines could have a lot of impact on your life and help you to be able to feel that level of like love and encouragement, or at least you're going to have females in your life or feminine energies, right, that are going to really support and hold space for you. I find that as human beings, that is the hardest thing for people to be able to do, is hold space for one another. We don't always want the advice. We don't always want a solution. Sometimes we just need to be heard, and we need to be heard without the fear of being judged, because otherwise we're not going to be open. You'll have that Four of Pentacles energy once again, right? So that's what I have for you. Let me know what you thought about this reading. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Grisel with Psychicmd and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3. I'm going to go ahead and ring the bell for additional good juju in 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah. Soul retrieval. What are you reintegrating, or what is spirit trying to reintegrate within you? Pile number 3. Let's see what the cards say. We have Queen of Swords. That's so beautiful. We have the Knight of Swords. We have the Seven of Swords. We have the Queen of Cups. And we have the Tower. Okay. Pile number 3, let me listen for a moment, see what I get. See this little knot right around here. Pile number 3, with the Queen of Swords, I feel like this is stating that what was separated from you was the ability to be decisive, to make judgments, to feel like you are making good judgments. I feel also that this has led to a codependency. You're looking at other people for approval, to double check, make sure that you are a-okay when you decide something. I also feel like you've been placed, whether by yourself or other forces, in the student's chair. And that's what's been fragmented. You can't remain a student forever. Pile number 3, we have the Knight of Swords. So what has been separated from you and needs to be reintegrated, I feel like once again that decisiveness, but the ability to communicate. Once upon a time, pile number 3, I really struggled with communicating my truth. I felt like I would rather choke it down and swallow barbed wire rather than even express what I was feeling or thinking. And I felt that way throughout my teen years and for many, many years. And it's taken many moons of therapy, as you can imagine, different modalities. So I feel like, yeah, your ability to communicate, your ability to leave things that are foggy, unclear. I feel like what's been separated from you is, again, maybe some confidence, but the ability to trust your judgment. The Seven of Swords. Your ability to do things in spite of what the clan thinks, right? Your independence. I feel like, again, you need clan approval. And no shame, again, in that game, I feel like I led my whole life, basically, trying to get the approval of other people until I finally realized that it was never going to happen. You cannot please everyone. Pile number 3, the Seven of Swords really talks about someone taking swords with ideas and things like that and leaving in the middle of the night, doing whatever it is that they need to do, whatever they want to do. Typically, it is seen as a negative card, but I feel like you were leaving behind all this darkness because you were plummeted into a darkness and into a congregation, into a session, into a way of being, into a belief system, into a... You okay? This could be a cult, a religious faction, I don't know what. But I feel like you have been fractured and placed into like some kind of congregation or an area with people that they have to decide, you know, or you're looking at them, the elders and things like, am I doing the right thing? This kind of a thing for every little thing that you do. We have the Queen of Cups. I feel like what's been separated or fragmented from you is your psychic abilities. Honestly, we all have them. And the Queen of Cups is very in tune with her emotions. I feel like while you are empathic, you have a way of absorbing energy within yourself that doesn't belong to you. And I can resemble that remark for sure. It's taken me forever to learn how to separate those two things. But I feel like maybe that's why you go off on your own quite a bit. I feel like you could love to read books, write in your journal, things like that. You could love to get away and be within nature. You could love to kind of dream a little bit and be inspired by things that you see around you. I feel like some of you guys can play with fire, a little bit of pyromania thing, or maybe you get mesmerized when there is a candle that's lit. If you've been staring at this candle while I've been talking, I feel also that this could be a little bit of being peppered with other people's dreams and feeling like you need to be a part of it or need to help other people attain their dreams, but not really tending to your own. And then we have the Tower. So I feel like what's been separated from you is the inability to see that the ground that you have built on or that you've been building on is not stable, that it needs to come down. I almost see this as a sword going through that building. And I feel like whatever it is that has been built previously is coming down. And what you've been separated from is your intuition telling you, hey, this isn't right. Things are really cloudy. I don't really understand. And why are you, I feel like you've been even refraining from asking questions. I feel like you've been effectively silenced. And in a lot of ways, and this could be like, for example, if you're going to church, and I can say this because I was in a cult for many years, okay? So I'm going to say that if you're in a church and they say, nope, you have to have discipleship and you have to have your disciple partners, which is the people that basically are assigned to oversee you, and you have a meeting with them. And I've seen this taken to the point where couples were asking another couple if they could buy a vacuum cleaner with their own money. I kid you not. So it goes anywhere from finances, how often you have SMEX, or who you date, or when you're allowed to get married and things like that. It could be things like this. And just to clarify, for me, my experience was very beneficial because I learned a lot of skills that I never would have had otherwise. I learned how to hold down a job. I learned how to say no to children, how to take charge of that, and how to really help navigate the world of being around kids. I learned how to be able to babysit effectively where it wouldn't be like a Home Alone situation. I learned how to be a woman of my word, that kind of a thing. And so I feel like not everything is going to be negative, but these are things that you were left with is a dependency on other people, and living in a manner that was surely expected. I feel like you had to be the nice one, the nice kid, the nice person. You had to be sweet, not speaking up, definitely not speaking up against others or questioning anything. This is a vibe that I'm getting. If that's not your history or what you've had in the past, then I feel like this would not be your reading. Pile number 3, soul retrieval. What are you reintegrating? Let's find out. You have the 2 of coins, a balance. You're reintegrating balance into your life. You're able to figure out how it is that you can juggle things and still maintain a balance and do it gracefully. The King of Wands, your passion, I feel. I mean, we have this bird. It kind of looks like cross between the phoenix and a peacock. And so maybe something has to crash and burn, right? Or maybe it already did in order to rise and be a peacock, which is a very beautiful bird as well. I also feel, well, let's see. We have the 5 of Cups, yeah. With the 5 of Cups, I feel like there's a big price to pay in order to elevate, to integrate, to grow, and find your own independence. I feel like in order to integrate with who you are, to find out what do you even like. Is this what you really like, or is it because you know it's the quote right thing to do? Do you like to eat this way, or is it because this is what you were told this is the best way, and so on and so forth? So I feel like you're going to start finding your voice, but between now and then I feel like you're undergoing a lot of different changes. You're going to follow your passion, and that's how best to integrate things. You're going to little bit does it at a time, but following your ideas. You could be somebody with really good sense of business and things like that. But I feel like on the inside, when you slow down, when you stop and think, you could feel a lot of loss. I do know that in a lot of religions and things like that, when you leave their religion, they will shun you and things like that, so you can't associate with people like that. It's happened to me. not that I was shunned, but in other words, I was told when I was, a member that I had to shun and not speak to so-and-so. Keeping it moving. It will not be easy, but the Three of Coins, what's being integrated is a spirit of cooperation, collaboration, an ability to speak your truth, to sing your truth, a voice, in spite of how many people you piss off. It doesn't matter. I feel like your voice does matter, and you're going to start understanding that if people get upset, then that's a them problem and not a you problem. I feel like speaking your truth is going to give you renewed optimism. I feel like it's going to eliminate some of the fear, because I have a lot of fear factor coming through from this, especially from the Tower moment. I feel like leaving what you've known, what you've been told, what you've been trained on. And I get all those things. They are definitely deprogramming places that can help you with that. You can lean on friends, on, there's a plethora of resources out there. So, pile number 3, what do we have for we have the Hangman. Yeah, I definitely look at it from a different perspective. This is contemplation. This is, you could even be getting into like mudras and things like that in order to really stabilize your emotions. That would be really good for you. In fact, some of you guys, not all, but have problems with like your fallopian tubes, your female organs and things like that. You might want to get that checked out. There's an issue there. Not to alarm you. If you have a feeling, then that's that. If this message isn't for you, skip it and leave it for somebody else, please. Also, I'm looking at her red feet right here. So I feel like you're going to look for somewhere to be planted. Maybe you've been kind of destabilized, not really sure what to do, how to feel rooted without feeling co-managed or even managed, okay? So pile number 3, what do we have that's reintegrating is your passion, the Chariot. You're going to know how to make moves in a way that's confident, how to make moves, how to harness the energy around you, how to harness your own energy as well. I feel like the things that used to scare you, the barracudas in the dark, the things that you were fearful of once upon a time, you are going to be able to harness that energy and make moves that no one would have ever thought that you could make, actually. And I do feel like people are going to be watching you. And don't be afraid of that, because, people always have something to say about something. And that's, once again, their problem, not yours. Pile number 3. What else do we need to know? Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. So have confidence that Spirit is guiding you. That even though the terrain looks impossible, it looks bleak, it looks black and white, it looks like, when I was in my cult, I felt like I was losing my best friend. She actually left before me. And it was heartbreaking. And I had all these ideas. And my world did turn gray for a long time. And I mourned that. And I cried a lot. But then also leaving was an additional trauma. It was a whole different trauma. And coming out of it was something very difficult for me. But I'm going to say that when you start climbing those stairs and really ascending and looking at things from a higher perspective and diffusing that zoom lens that you have on that one narrow, this is how you do it. Maybe it's your own ideas of how to do things, right? I feel like you are going to be able to come into this soft sand, and it's going to be a balm for your soul. It's going to be a welcome change for you. I feel like where everything is granite right now, there's a right way and the thing to do, and everything is so regimented, and I feel like there's a lot of clouds down here that you don't really understand or know about. So there's a lot of veiled energy and secrecy, and I feel like you could be waking up at night feeling like something's wrong and not too sure about exactly what that is. I feel like there are people around you that are basically lying. I feel like you're going to break that fence, you're going to climb those stairs, and you are going to make your escape into something that is totally different for you. And with this also, of course, it's referencing the Akashic records, I feel. So you could be looking towards someone that can help you really access those. And that's like the history of your life. Maybe you can identify patterns and things like that in order to really elevate your situation. I feel like you have a connection to Egypt as well. That could be a thing for you. But life is going to get softer. It's going to get better. It's going to be more gentle for you. Not everything has to be rough and rigid. Pile number 3. Pleiades. Is that how you say it? I'm all asking like you can answer me in the moment. Double mission, channeling, and uplifting humanity. And I feel like that's what you are going to be doing. I feel like you're gaining a higher perspective. I feel like people around you, You will have people around you to really help elevate your perspective as well, so you can exactly see what it is that you're leaving and how to do it properly and how not to get stuck or hung up in the rungs. I don't know what that means, but I feel like almost not to get ensnared and entrapped by sheer emotion and looking back. Justice. I feel like justice is definitely going to be on your side. Balancing the yin and yang, your thoughts and emotions, not totally led by something that you've read or something that you've been told, but really allowing everything to have a balance, asking questions, speaking your truth, allowing the scales of justice. This could be a Libra too, by the way, to be here for you in order to show you what is, I heard sovereignty, but you know, everyone has choices. And if you're feeling like you have to do things a certain way, the I have to all of a sudden doesn't feel like a choice. So how to integrate what was lost or separated or fragmented from pile number 3. One more from this deck, please. Okay, I feel like you're going to find your soul tribe. I feel like it could be in the sticks. Like they're sitting on a bunch of sticks. I feel like you could be of different backgrounds and things like that. But this portal right here looks very beautiful. 10 of Cups, happy wife, happy life. The Cups is about emotional gratification. It's about seeing you and seeing and still being loved. Like nobody has to be perfect here, right? Everybody has their role, and you are free to kind of grow and fluctuate as a human being and not have to be paper perfect, right? King of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like you have abundance coming to you as well. An ability to really set forth into the world and start looking really pretty. If that's what you want. I mean, financially and things like that. Very, very stable. Very classy, very demure. Ooh, Judgment. Yeah. I feel like you're going to be actually with this 20 for the Judgment card. I feel like you are going to be judging your past, your history, and all that it was composed of, and just see that there are a lot of loopholes and things that you needed to escape or leave or tweak in order to really fulfill your mission, your destiny. And I also feel like right here with the Judgment, the 20, all of a sudden I saw it for 2.0. I feel like this is going to be you. 2.0, the clouds are parting. I feel like the sun is coming out for you, and you're going to have an ability to really feel that balance, to be able to even juggle things if you need to, navigate your life, but with a renewed optimism and no longer having a fear of condemnation or a fear of others controlling or a fear of pissing people off, right? Even though that's not the intent of that card. I realize that, by the way. Pile number 3, what do we have for it being? Oh, goodness. We have jumpers. We have the Ace of Swords that fell sideways. You're going to go through stages where I see clearly and I don't. I do and I don't. I have the wisdom, then I don't. The Two of Swords, a stalemate. I feel like you might want to put a plug in it and be like, this is too much. I don't know if I can do this. It's overwhelming. But then I feel like, you know, back and forth, you will debate. And this is drawing the line and saying, why do we have 4 swords if it's only 2? That's weird. Oh, we have more? What's going on here? Defect. Okay. So pile number 3, I feel like this alligator, I think, or crocodile, I don't know, is basically saying that you might have like a stalemate or reach a resolution, that there is no resolution to this and you need to move on, but you'll go back and forth in that line of thinking. 2 of Cups, yeah, you may have to leave some people behind that you love, that you really commune with, that you have a heart affection with. This could be somebody who's like a soulmate. These could be friends, by the way. Friends could be soulmates as well. It will be a challenge, but I feel like you'll go back and forth. Okay, this is it. No, it's not. The 5 of Swords, I feel like you're going to start seeing things and start getting upset. You could have a lot of emotions that are going to really course through your body, that are even trapped in your body. With the porcupine, the 5 of Swords, this is about being lied to, cheated. I remember when I found out at my church, you know, a lot of things were going on at the time. But then we found out while we were, you know, selling all of our things and trying to come up with all this money for, quote, missions, they were sending their kids to Ivy League colleges, and they were, you know, sending them to tennis classes and all this stuff. And we we're not doing so well. Let's just say that. None of us were playing tennis. That's all I got to say about that time of my life. So I feel like you're going to go back and forth. Was that deceptive? Is it logical? Yes, these people need to get paid, but do they need to put the weight of the world on us and keep us in blinders? I almost feel like that's a blinder. You know, that answer would be no. And I feel like the Queen of Swords, you're going to feel like, okay, I can cut this off. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, it's not. That kind of a thing. Back and forth energy. I feel like a lot of smoke behind you. So things will seem unclear. I feel like professional help would be best, and getting a shaman to help you with soul retrieval would be awesome as well. But then you have the World, and you'll be a little oscillating back and forth, and it just seems like very nervous. Do I end it? Do I not? Do I end it? Do I not? Yeah, I'm going to totally end it. No, I'm totally not gonna. I can't. With the number 21 reducing to a 3, I feel like this is finding comrades, finding people, finding fellow souls who think like you, in order to really pull you from this double mission, like this life that you currently have, that you're just now leaving, in order to really change and uplift humanity yourself. And you can't do it from a place of lack, from a place of brokenness, and not knowing yourself super well. That's just not going to go well. Last card, 6 of Cups. Yeah. So yes, you can feel nostalgia. 6 of Cups is about nostalgia and having feelings and things like that. You know, the dolphins are incredibly intelligent, and this can even be alluding to, like, I think I watched a couple of Amish shows and Mennonites, and how when they leave, they cannot have any contact with their family. Their family won't even say bye to them. They won't talk to them, that kind of a thing. And, you know, it's just TV. I don't know if this is a fact. It's only what I've seen. But it could feel like that. So you could have separation from people, 2 people specifically, that might serve to break your heart. If you are older, or if you have children, it could mean that you have to leave, I don't know, a faction or a group of people in order to save yourself, reintegrate yourself to self, right? Soul retrieval. And this can mean that maybe children get left, you know, with a partner because you can't take them. I don't know. But there's 2 images that keep popping up for you, and that is very difficult, very, very difficult. I'm getting also, you know, grandparents vibes, that kind of a thing. So that is what I have for you. Let me know what you think about this. I think it was a little bit all over the place as well. But I mean, honestly, when you're leaving a situation like this and trying to reintegrate things, everything gets affected. It just does. So that's what I have for you. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste.